What's up guys, welcome back to Seiya Awakening. Today we finally have the review for Divine Cloth Seiya. I am so sorry for the delay on this. I had no internet for 2.5 days last week, so there was a lot less videos. And then I also had to post a 50,000 subscriber video, which I hope you already saw. We posted that on Friday. I'm really happy with the results, so if you haven't already, go check it out because it's also a giveaway. Now this Divine Cloth Seiya guy has been playing really hard to get on my account, which is a shame because I really want to build him. I never had him on SEA, so I'm really dying to play with him over here on Global. So far we've done 330 summons for this guy and still no luck. Now, the only good news is that the shard drop rate seems to have improved. I've done 330 and I'm almost there. I'm at 100 and let me see, I'm at 102 shards. So I'm gonna recommend the same thing that I recommended on the Spanish video, and that's that you do 40 summons daily when there's this summoning event. That's because the only two levels of this event that actually give you character shards are the 10 and the 40, which reset every day. If you do at least 40 summons every day throughout the 7 days that the banner is up, then that's at least 21 extra shards that you're gonna get guaranteed. It's not much, but it helps a little bit. You might be able to complete them a little bit sooner. Anyway, enough complaining about my summons. Let's go look at this guy on SEA, on Atomic's account. I think when we start looking at his skills, you're gonna realize pretty quickly why this guy is so game-changing, why he changes the whole meta, why everybody's excited about him, and everybody's throwing all the summons they've got. Let's head over there and check it out. Alright, so Divine Seiya is a physical type attacker, but unlike many other physical attackers in the game, he has outrageously high speed. This thing starts at 402, which is the speed level of most supports in the game, or even faster. It's not hard to make this guy move first in a fight, and due to the mechanics that we're going to look at, he's not going to move once or twice, but maybe up to 4 times in one round. His first skill is a very simple physical attack, individual, it hits one enemy, nothing special. On the second one though, it's where things start getting crazy already. The Divine Stallion spreads its wings and flies into the sky. Okay, that's really a fancy way of saying he just jumps up into space and he starts shooting meteors from up there. He's gonna jump up, attack one enemy 5 times with a multiplier of 60% for each attack, so that's a total of 300 on level 1. And he's also gonna stay up in the sky for the remainder of that round. On his next movement, he's gonna come down from the sky and he's gonna be incapacitated for a certain number of rounds. At skill level 1, you can't use him for 3 rounds, but when you skill him up to at least level 4, then that is reduced to only 1 round of being incapacitated. And here you can see one of the tricky things about Divine Seiya, and that's the number of skill ups that he requires. Remember, if you have this thing in level 1, he's only going to be able to attack 1 out of every 4 rounds. If you manage to get it to level 4 though, he's only going to be incapacitated for 1 round, so he'll attack 1 and be down for 1. That makes a gigantic difference. Now onto his third skill, which is a passive and works together with the second one, the one where he goes to space. While he's up there, Divine Seiya has a 40% chance to attack when one of his allies uses a skill that doesn't do damage to the enemy and that uses 2 or less energy. So remember, if we want him to attack again, we can't use any skills that do damage or use a lot of energy. Now, the less energy our skill uses, the more damage he does. At level 1, skills that use 1 energy will have a 10% boost, and skills that use 0 energy will have a 30% boost. And levels are also very important for this passive. On level 1, we only have a 40% chance to do an additional attack from the sky. When we get this thing to level 4, it's 100% guaranteed that if our allies' skills meet the requirements, we will attack again a maximum of 3 times. That's insane, because he's going to attack once with his own turn, and then he can attack another 3 times for a total of 4 before the round is over. The damage boost, depending on the energy that skill uses, also goes up to 20% for 1 energy and 40% for 0 energy. So just think about this for a second. Let's say Divine Seiya moves first, he attacks, he goes up in the sky. Up next we have Kiki. He uses a skill that doesn't do damage and doesn't use any energy. Seiya is gonna attack again with a 40% boost. Then let's say Luna moves. She doesn't do damage, she uses 1 energy. Seiya attacks again with 20% more damage. Now let's pretend we gave the double turn to Milo. Milo charges his Scarlet Needle, which doesn't do damage and doesn't use energy, so that's 1 more Divine Seiya attack with another 40% boost. So we've already moved 4 times, and we still somehow have 1 energy left. It's insane. Anyway, we're gonna get to see how that works exactly when we do the demo battle later in Arena. His last skill, which also sounds really cool, is another passive that allows him to do 1 final attack when he takes fatal damage. What does this mean? When Divine Seiya is about to die, at level 1 he has a 20% chance to do 200 physical damage to 1 random enemy. The higher the level of the skill, the more likely it is, with 100% at only level 3, and the higher the damage. So imagine if you could max this thing and do 1 final attack for 600% physical damage. It sounds amazing, and it is amazing when it works, but really you should prioritize leveling up skills 2 and 3. The ideal Divine Seiya will have skill levels 1, 4, 4, 1. I mean, I'm gonna say 1 on the last one, but really if you can max it to 5, then good for you. But 1, 4, 4, 1 is a great Divine Seiya. Alright, now let's look at his Cosmo. As a physical attacker, we're going to be looking for all of the typical physical attacker things. That's going to be physical attack, crit level, crit effect, but also very important in him is to decide whether you want to go for maximum crit rate and damage or if you want to go for a really fast Divine Seiya. Depending on what you choose, then your Cosmo options will change. The basic types are a slow Divine Seiya with lots of crit rate and lots of crit effect, or a really fast Seiya with a lot of physical attack because he's not going to have so much crit level. Then do the crit effect from Fire Drop doesn't really apply if you want to go really fast, because we're not going to be using Staunch here. So the choices are, for a fast Seiya, you're going to want to go with Physical Stone, get as much physical attack as possible, or if you're going with a crit, really heavy hitting Divine Seiya, then you would go with Fire Drop. Under Lunar, the options are the classic of Tenacity and Bloom to increase his HP a lot, but you can also go with Knowing to try to improve his resistance. That way, on those turns where he gets incapacitated, he can't get control, because if he gets stunned or frozen or whatever while he's down, then that next move, he won't be able to jump up in the air again. Resistance is great on him, but HP is also a good choice. In the very distant future though, I'm not even sure, I think this just came out in SE8, there's this Jade Light, and this thing gives him a big HP boost and lots of speed, which is something we want on him. The status hit is kind of wasted because he doesn't apply any debuffs, but still is a very good option if maybe you want to go with the crit Seiya but also have a little bit of speed. Under Star, we have to again think about whether we want the slow and heavy hitting Seiya or the really fast one. If we're going with super speed, then at the moment on Global, the best option is New Moon. It gives him the biggest speed boost by far. If we're going with a crit Seiya, then Staunch is the way to go. It gives him a little bit of HP, but it also boosts his P crit level way high. In the future though, one to keep in mind is going to be this Crystal Fire. This thing gives him physical attack, more speed, and also physical defense pierce, so he's gonna ignore some of the enemy's physical defense. When this thing comes out, I think by far this will be the best choice, and at that point I think everybody's gonna run an ultra fast Seiya, so again just focus on physical attack and tons of speed. As far as legendary, in my opinion and in the opinion of the chat when we were reviewing this guy together last week, his best option is Vulcan Chain, because he is gonna move first, all of the enemy team is gonna have full HP, he can take full advantage of the Vulcan Chain boost, which is 40% more damage to units that are above 70% HP. You could bring a bunch of units low, and then maybe on the second round use an AoE attacker to try to finish some of them off. Other options that can work well for him are the classic Kingfisher, which gives him a big HP boost, and it also increases his damage, he can ignore some defense, and because he attacks so many times, there's a pretty high likelihood that the effect will be triggered at least once or twice. Same thing with Silver Dragon, you can do more damage depending on the enemy's HP, and that's about it. Vulcan Chain would still be my number one choice. In substats, you again have to decide whether you want to go crit or you want to go fast. If you're going with a crit, then you're going to want a lot of physical attack and a lot of crit level. And if you can get some speed substats here, that would help as well. If you're going with a super fast Seiya, then the same three apply, but I think the priority changes. Now you're going to want speed substats, physical attack, and the last one would be pick crit level. Anyway, you can have a good balance of both depending on your substats, so finding a point in between the crit Seiya and the fast one might not be impossible. In either case, those are the three main stats. How you distribute them will be depending on what you have available. Alright, now let's look at what teams he combines really well with. As I mentioned earlier, the whole dynamic of Seiya is to use units that don't do direct damage to the enemy and use little energy. That's why support units like Luna and Kiki are great with him. Also, Golden Yoga is a really good partner for this guy because he uses 0 energy, so he gets the full damage boost. As for attackers that combine well with him, one of them is Milo, because the charge, when he charges his Scarlet Needle, that doesn't count as damage, it doesn't use any energy, so it triggers Seiya again. Also Arayashiki Shaka, because on that first round you can use the blood, trigger Seiya's additional attack, and then on the second round, maybe have a Shaka equipped with Felina, so you didn't use any energy on first round. Second round, you have the damage boost, you do an AoE, you finish off whatever Seiya weakened in the first one. In the future, Poseidon will be a good partner as well, because he has a couple of skills that do something for your team, but don't attack the enemy and consume little energy. Lastly, you can bring some protection for him for those turns where he's down on the ground. That could be Shion, that could be Mu, it could be Saori. All of those work pretty well to protect him. Among his weaknesses, we have to mention the fact that he is incapacitated for a few rounds, so it's not a saint that you can use and attack every single time, but he makes up for it by attacking several times when he is up in the sky. Another sort of weakness would be the cost of building him, of developing him to the level where he's most useful. He requires 12 skill tomes, which is a huge investment. If you want to see the numbers you see on screen from Atomic's account, then you're also going to have to 8-sense him fully, and he's still not a character that can one-shot. Unless you happen to get lucky and attack the same target twice in the first round, then you're probably not going to be able to take out an enemy unit in one move. Units are simply too tanky at this point in the game. And the last one would be that he's kind of squishy. He has a C in HP, C in physical defense, and B in Cosmo defense, so he is actually pretty easy to one-shot. If a Xion gets a hold of him while he's down and he's not protected by someone, then that is going to be a one-shot, pretty much guaranteed. Other than that, this guy is really freaking strong. He's immune to most stuff most of the time because he's up in the sky. He has outrageous speed, so he's gonna move first on that first round, almost guaranteed. And he's also amazing in that he's good in PvP, but he's also useful in PvE. I see him used a lot, for example, in astral space. He'll be the first to move, he'll jump up in the sky, and then if your team has a couple of other supports that don't use energy and don't do damage, then he's gonna keep attacking, and he can basically knock down the whole boss in round 1. Alright, so enough talking about this boy. We're gonna go test him in Arena now, and I'm gonna pair him with another Divine Bronze, whatever the heck level they are at this point, another Bronze Saint with Divine Armor, which is Divine Cloth Phoenix. This is a combination that is disgusting. I didn't mention it in the teams because this guy is not available yet, but once he is, if you're lucky enough to get both of them, G freaking G. It's gross. We accidentally found the combination when we were doing the Spanish review, so we're gonna use it again today because it's really exciting. Let's go try it out. Now, we're not very high ranked today, we're at about rank 1000, so I don't expect that the fight will be too hard, but whatever. It gives us a chance to look at the fight slowly, explain what the heck is happening, and I'm just gonna take the leftmost guy here. It has a June, which is kind of a problem for Divine since he is an individual attacker, but who cares? We're gonna go in anyway. Maybe we bring some silence. I don't know if he has any silence suitors. Let's just check. Either case, I think it's so much damage that's gonna be coming out of Divine Seiya and Divine Iki that June is just going to melt. Alright, so the team that we're gonna be going with kind of looks a lot like the team that's on screen now. We can trigger additional attacks with Kiki, then we can put up a protection because the enemy does have a Doko, and then one with Milo as well, and we have Marine for insurance. Okay, we're gonna go with this. Our Divine Seiya is gonna move first, undoubtedly, and then we're gonna trigger lots of additional attacks with these support units. So here's how this thing works. Obviously you need Marsh Fairy. It is a requirement on your team because he needs 3 energy in order to move first. And I'm gonna start working on June because I think once we eliminate June, this becomes a lot more easy. Alright, so she's almost dead. She's almost dead. Seiya's up in the sky. When I do this, he's gonna trigger another attack. And if we get it on June, then freaking G to the G. No. Oh my god, he just annihilated Saori in one shot. So much for not being a one-shot unit. So you saw one more attack because Juna used a skill that doesn't damage the enemy and is less than 2 energy, right? It's only 1. So we almost took care of this poor Shaka. And now at this point, I think I'm just going to poke this one. We're not going to trigger an attack because we do damage, but we are going to trigger an attack when we charge the needle. Who it's going to go on, I don't know, but I think Juna is going to die regardless because the Divine is going to distribute the damage. Right? So we're going to charge up here. No damage, less than 2 energy. June and Arayashiki are gone. I don't even need to heal. I'm just going to poke. I'm going to poke this guy, and now Seiya's going to come back down, and he's going to be incapacitated for a whole round. Yeah? You see he's down on the ground. There's nothing we can do. We can't choose skills. We can't do anything. What we can do is protect him with Divine. Here, I don't want to kill anyone. I want to use Divine Seiya at least one more time. But I also want to show you Divine Iki, so I'm just going to poke. I'm going to poke Marie, and I hope that we don't do 2 damage. I'm going to pray that my Milo doesn't go too crazy here. Actually, yeah, let's just do it. God damn it, Milo. Of all the times to proc, you choose this one. Really? Anyway, I don't even want to heal. Now, Pegasus is going to be, he's going to be able to move again. We can use the skill. We can go on the sky. I'm going to throw this shit on Doko. And then once we do this, I think it's pretty much, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I don't want to trigger this because I want to show you at least 1 Divine Iki attack. Okay? I am going to put this shit up because I don't want to get nuked if this Doko moves. God damn it. So, god damn it. That didn't work out. And I have to do damage here. This is an AoE attack. And what happens is, it does some damage, and I couldn't show you what happens next because he just killed everything. But he basically becomes a fire Pokemon, right? He goes into fire form, this flaming phoenix. And then whenever an ally attacks or some shit like that, he also attacks. So with this combination with Divine Iki and Divine Seiya, you can have 2 characters attacking randomly outside of the turns every time an ally moves. It's insane. That might be the quickest demonstration we've done yet, but that's how strong it is, and we weren't very high ranked, so it makes sense that we killed everything really quickly. Now, Atomic was also able to pull the, Armor Saori, what the heck is this unit called anyway? Goddess Athena. So if he builds her, we could review her on his account when she becomes available for global. We're gonna end it here for today though. That is the Divine Claude Seiya review, a unit that is amazing for PvP, completely changes the meta, and also has some uses in PvE. Now, some news that we found out this morning is that this week on global, we're gonna get Radamanthus, which is a great PvE unit. We're gonna do the review this week at some point, but we also found out that the next banner, next Wednesday, is gonna be Poseidon, just in time for Christmas, and he's gonna be available for 2 weeks. That's really good news. I think it'll improve the odds of getting him a little bit. You're gonna be able to do a little bit more summons, and if you don't happen to pull him, at least you'll be able to collect more shards. Now, remember the advice I gave you guys: if you are summoning, don't do everything on the same day. There's only 2 levels of that stupid event that give you fragments, so focus on getting those 40 summons done every day, kind of space out your summons, and you'll get a little bit more rewards. Alright, I'll leave you here for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!